Very, very refreshing seeing so many people here. I think close to 1,000 people are physically here after a year and a half of being isolated. So I'll talk about our latest status of autonomous driving and the field of, from driving assist to autonomous driving. As we all recall, autonomous driving is really going to be transformative for mobility, bringing accidents to zero, lowering the costs of mobility to cost below public transportation, reducing the number of cars on the road because the utility of each car goes up. So it's a huge transformation. So where are we standing? So first, let's look at the landscape. The landscape, if you look from the left, these are driving assists of today. These are systems in the car, mostly a front-facing camera. Sometimes you have a front-facing radar that are there in the car to intervene a fraction of a second before an accident. So the car will brake before an accident, will prevent the driver from veering from the lane or give a warning. It's called lane keeping assist. And these are very, very high volume devices. So today it's about 50% fitment rate. So 50% of all new cars on the road are coming, with these systems built in. By 2026, it's going to be 76% of all new cars. Just to give you an idea of scale, Mobileye's revenue 2021 is about $1.5 billion just from these systems. The next is an area, it's called this premium driving assist or level 2 plus, level 3. And these are systems that you start seeing them coming on the road, first with the premium cars, but I believe that they will go down to medium and low-end cars. And these are systems that are using multiple sensors, normally 360 degrees around the car, much more compute in terms of computing power. Sometimes multi-sensor modality will be cameras, radars. Sometimes there'll be a laser scanner, a LiDAR. The driver is still responsible, so the car is not fully autonomous driving, but allows the driver to be disengaged from the driving experience for a limited amount of times. So this is, we can say 95% of the autonomous driving experience will be launched with these kinds of premium ADAS. So this also had the potential of becoming very, very high volume in the coming years. And then the holy grail is what is called level 4, level 5. These are full self-driving systems in which the driver no longer needs to be in the loop, could sit in the back seat, or the car could drive without anyone in the cabin. And the car is responsible for all the driving experience, including being engaged in emergency situation. In some cases, there is a teleoperation that could remotely intervene when the car needs assistance. So this is the holy grail. It's called level 4 or level 5. Now we at Mobileye, we are developing the entire spectrum from the left block to the right block. So why are we developing the entire spectrum? Because when you look at the way autonomous driving will play out, it could play out in one or two ways. And they're very, very different. The first, it will play out through mobility. That means robotaxi, robo-shuttles. These are taxis without a driver, or a shuttle without a driver. So it's not owned by a consumer, it's owned by a fleet operator. It could be Uber, Lyft, transportation network company, or a public transport operator owning a fleet of such vehicles, and they provide mobility per payment, per mile payment. So this is one play, which, if you look asymptotically at this play, it means that eventually, it will start with big cities. Gradually, the number of autonomous cars providing mobility will increase in a big city. At some point, big cities or mega cities will not allow privately owned cars to drive in the city because everything is covered by those autonomous cars. Then it will grow, expand from city to city. Then those cars will be able to drive between cities. There will be less incentive for people to buy cars, and it will all be mobility and not private consumption. So this is one play in terms of autonomous driving. Another play is a consumer level. It means it's an extension of driving assist. You buy such a car, and with the press of a button, you can sit in the back seat, and the car will take you to whatever you want to go. You can intervene and drive yourself, or you can disengage. When you disengage, the robotic engine is completely responsible for the driving. Now, these two paths of playing out are very, very different. And the difference is cost and scalability. When you look at robotaxi or robo-shuttle, the cost of a system is not that critical because you have here a device that has a return on investment. For a consumer, the cost is critical. You buy a car that costs $50,000, you're not going to pay another $200,000 for the self-driving system. The cost should be very, very low. We predict that if the cost goes below $5,000, one can scale. Right? So one needs to figure out how to scale both geographically by building maps that are global, high-definition maps that are global and refreshed all the time, and bringing cost, both of compute and sensor cost, to levels below $5,000 in order to create a consumer AV. Now, Mobileye is developing both the consumer level. By 2024, 2025, we will have systems that cost much less than $5,000, a complete self-driving system, and also robotaxis that will start launching next year. So this is an example of this premium level 2 plus. It is now being launched in China. Already 1,000 vehicles were delivered. This is a brand of Geely called Zeekr. It has 11 cameras around the car. It's powered by 2 of our latest system on chips called IQ5. And the driver is responsible, but it provides 95% of the autonomous driving experience. Let me show you. This is in different territories. This is in Jerusalem. The car is circled in blue, and you can see how it's driving autonomously. And this is in Munich. Here it's going to find an obstacle, understand it's an obstacle, and then overtake it. This is in Detroit. So very different types of scenarios and driving conditions and driving cultures. This is in New York City. This is very, very complicated. New York City and Tel Aviv are kind of very, very tough places to drive. And we have also in Tokyo and, of course, in China. So this kind of experience is now already at a consumer level, starting in China, but it will expand from China to the rest of the world. We're expecting, many tens of thousands of those vehicles, even above 100,000 in 2022. Next, we launched level 4 robotaxi. It was showcased at the IAA in September in Munich. It has the same subsystem of cameras that you saw before, but in addition, it has a 360 degrees of laser scanners, LiDARs, both short range and long range, and the radar system. This is much more expensive. This is designed for robotaxi. It's not for consumers. And we will be launching this in Munich and Tel Aviv, middle 2022, without a driver. So we are working on all the regulatory permits to enable this. And if we look at 2024, 2025, there are two thrusts in order to bring this technology to a consumer level. One is efficiency of compute. We're developing a chip. So given all the years we're developing the software, the technology, today we have a very, very good understanding about the compute requirement of such a system. So based on all our understanding, we're designing a chip that will be ready end of 2023, 2 years from now. It's an AV, autonomous vehicle on chip. So a single chip that will cover all the autonomous driving experience. Together with this chip and special sensors that we are developing, imaging radars that could take the place of LiDARs, at least the 360-degree LiDARs will not need them, only those imaging radars. We can provide a full self-driving system below $5,000 in 2025 and use that to scale. And finally, the next scalable item is maps. These cars require high-definition maps. These are very, very precise maps with lots of semantic information about priorities, about the traffic lights, which driving path is connected, associated with which traffic light, about pedestrian crossing zones, which one is associated with which driving path. Lots and lots of information and in high precision. And there is a big issue of how to build those maps at scale. At Mobileye, since 2016, we developed a crowdsourced way of building those maps, such that we can have maps at scale all over the world. Today, we receive 8 million kilometers of road every day from production vehicles around the world. We have mapped already 7.5 billion kilometers of road. And in 2024, we'll be receiving about 1 billion kilometers of roads every day. Today, we have 6 car makers that have our technology sending that critical data to build the maps at scale. So if you put all of this together, very, very efficient compute, very efficient geographic scalability using maps, special sensors to reduce the need for having expensive laser scanners in a car, and the division of subsystems, camera-only subsystem and then an active sensor subsystems. We'll be both launching robotaxis next year and consumer autonomous cars 2024, 2025 timeframe. And that will be the beginning of a transformation which we'll start seeing in 2030. It will start taking an effect in 2030. Thank you very much.